What's up, party people? Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be showing you my mommy makeup routine, which is basically just my everyday routine now. It's simple, it's quick, it just makes you look naturally pretty. It's kind of my comfort zone nowadays. I've been doing some new techniques I've really been enjoying that just kind of suit my face shape and my eye shape better, so I'm going to show you those today as well. And I think it goes without saying that you don't have to be a mom to do this makeup routine. It's basically just an everyday, natural kind of routine. But for me, it's my new mommy makeup routine just because I can do it quickly. I can do it while my little girl's asleep. But yeah, I'm gonna zoom you guys in and let's get started. So first things first, we gotta do some eye primer. So this is the Essence Olive Stage eyeshadow base. This is an OG of mine. If you can still find this, grab it. Grab them all. Pretty sure they discontinued this stuff, and it's probably because they heard that I loved it. It literally never fails. Like if I love something, it's gonna get discontinued. But yeah, I've really drawn it back in the last few months. Like since I had my little girl, my makeup routine is completely different. I used to be someone that every single day I would do a dramatic look. Like it would be smoky and bold and, you know, eyeliner. Like I didn't cut corners. My husband actually told me that I look younger without a lot of makeup on. Like whenever I have like super bold makeup, it makes me look older apparently, and kind of went to my head. But I totally get it. Like I see it whenever I have a lot of eye makeup on, especially. I just look older. Yeah, I've really been enjoying just a simple matte look that's not over the top. So I've really only been using like two eyeshadow palettes here recently, and that is the Profusion Mattes eyeshadow palette and the BH Cosmetics Hanging in Hawaii palette. So if I don't feel like dipping into two different palettes, I'll just pull out the Profusion one. It has everything I need. It has matte skin tone shades, it has browns, has tans, and I believe this is like $7, $5, something like that. And the BH Hanging in Hawaii palette, these are so buttery and easy to work with and pigmented but not over the top. So first I'll go into the mattes palette and just mix these two skin tone shades, and I just very lightly wash this all over. So I'm really just doing this just to add a slight bit of brightness and also to set the primer so it's not tacky. So if I wanted to stick to just the Profusion palette, I would use like this shade or this shade, this shade. I mean really just whatever I'm feeling. It's just a neutral tan is what I'm looking for. But I've really been enjoying the Hanging in Hawaii palette. So I like to go into this shade right here at the top, which is just, once again, a neutral tan shade. Is it really that much different than the ones in the Profusion palette? No. These are just a tad bit more buttery and soft and just, I don't know, they just give a very pretty velvety, just a velvety shadow. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this shade right here, tap off a lot of the excess. And for me, it's all about applying less than what I would normally apply. Just for a slight amount of definition. You could also use your bronzer for this as well. Sometimes I do, but I got a lot of palettes to use, so I don't need to be skimping on palettes. And normally whenever I do my crease color, I'll kind of bring it downwards like this in windshield wiper motions, but I've been doing more outward motions because I don't want my eyes to go downward. I need them to be uplifted. I'm telling you, the whole 27th birthday thing just, it really went to my head. What I like to do is just follow it towards my temple. And if I'm really in a hurry, I don't sit here and blend for 5 minutes on each eye. Like I'm taking my time now because like I said, I have the time too. I usually just slap it on, and like the quicker I do it, the better it looks. I'm telling you, I'm spending way more time on this than I normally do. Now what I'm gonna do is take a slightly darker neutral tan shade and just define the socket of my crease a little bit, just to kind of recede the hood that I have, because I do have a semi-hooded eye. What I've been doing is going into this one down here in the palette, which is just a tad bit darker. So we went from this one to this one, and I'm just gonna go right in the socket of my crease. So I'm gonna raise my brow a little bit, and I'm gonna follow where I see that fold. I'm actually gonna go a little bit higher than the fold, because you don't wanna follow the hood of your eye because that's just gonna make it look more hooded. You wanna go above it and kind of create the look of, you know, like that Jaclyn Hill eye that's not hooded. I want it to look like my eyes are just naturally, Okay, and then I'm gonna take that brush that I used to set my primer again and just with a little bit, use this as my brow bone highlight as well. And then once again, take that big blending brush and just So now it's time for eyeliner, which in my opinion is what takes this look to a whole nother level. So I've really been digging the fox eye technique. I didn't do a video on it or anything just because I felt like literally everyone and their mother had already done it. But the fox eye technique with brown liner is just so beautiful to me, and it just looks so much better on my eye shape than, you know, drawing it from the inner corner all the way out and doing like a dramatic wing. Now I don't spend a whole lot of time doing this. Like I literally slap it on and go, and it's so understated that you can't even really tell there's eyeliner most of the time. Like it just looks like your lashes are dark and you got this really pretty eye shape, and we're basically faking it till we're making it. So yeah, I'm just gonna mix these two at the bottom, tap off the excess. I'm just gonna start this kind of towards the center in a way, kind of like halfway in between the edge and the center. So I start off by stamping it right at the lash line, and I stay really, really close. And when it gets to like the center of the lid, I get very, very close to the lashes. Like I'm barely on the lid at all. So once I get the darkness that I want the lashes, then I start moving up a little bit. But again, it's not about actually seeing the liner. It's just about having the effect. I just start on the top and I go out to make a wing. I just take my finger and just kind of clean it up a little bit. As you can see, the winged aspect is very, very light. Like it's almost undetectable, which is what we're going for. Is this a fox eye eyeliner tutorial or is this a mommy makeup routine? We don't know. The lines are blurred. Real quick curl my lashes. I just do about 10 to 15 little clamp downs. So you can see I'm opening and closing it. And that is like the best way to curl your lashes. This whole holding it there for a few seconds, no, girl, just clamp it. Just I've really been enjoying the Essence What the Fake. Sorry, I can't say that normally. Yeah, just one good full coat. I don't layer it too many times usually. I just kind of keep it simple and just So for brows, I'll go into a brow pencil first and just kind of outline and define everything, and then topping it off with a tinted brow gel just to kind of finish the job and, you know, fill in what I didn't get with the pencil. It just kind of helps save time because you don't have to spend as much time, you know, making little hair-like strokes with the pencil and whatnot. So start off by underlining it, and then I'm gonna go on top, and I'm going outward. Like I'm not drawing anything down. I'm gonna spoolie it real quick, and yeah, bada boom, bada bing. Oh, there's a lot of strays. There's a lot of stray cats up there. So then I'm gonna go into my Pew Skinny Brow Cara in the shade, what is the shade? Why can't I read Korean? Pretty sure this is neutral brown. So I'm just gonna go in and just draw it upward. And this is gonna help with hold as well, but it's also gonna add a little more definition and help out with filling in those little sparse areas. I mean, if you wanted to, which I do on a lot of days, I'll just use the tinted brow gel, not the pencil at all. So now that my skincare is all dried and whatnot, and we're ready for bedtime, I'm gonna go into a primer. Now, a primer is not essential at all. I mean, if you're wanting it to last a little bit longer, then yeah, go for a primer. Honestly, I'm just using them at this point just to use up what I have, because I have so many, and to not use them, like to rebel and say, oh, I'm not gonna use primers because they're useless, like, it's wasting my money to do that. Let's try a new one. So this is the Wet n Wild Glass Correct Primer. So this is the green one, so it's supposed to help with redness, and we're really gonna test that because for some reason, Mama is flushed like a freaking communal toilet. Let's just put it on this side and see if we can see a difference. Like you can, oh, look at that. Disco. Okay, so that definitely does make your skin look way more dewy and glassy. So now that I'm properly primed for the next hour of my night, I'm gonna go wet my sponge. I have a new sponge to try. This is the Kokie Cover and Conceal Beauty Sponge that they just sent to me. It feels as soft as a freaking cloud, so let's see how it do. So for foundation, I haven't really been drawn to any particular one. Honestly, I just use whatever I feel like using that day. I'll just use this one. This is the Cream Shop's BB Cream, the shade Light. I actually got this from CVS. They have the entire line of Cream Shop, which is pretty cool. This is a Korean brand. It's so lightweight and skin-like, and it gives you coverage without looking like you've got like a full coverage foundation on. Look at that. It just looks like my skin is just not blemished. Normally it doesn't look this dewy. It's more of a natural finish, but boy, that Wet n Wild primer is really doing things up. But because I'm always so tired and sleep deprived, my whole goal with my face is to be dewy and plump and just to look more awake than what I actually am. Most of the time I'm a walking zombie, so we gotta fake it. So now I'm gonna go into some concealer. I'm gonna use this one from e.l.f. This is the Hydrating Camo Concealer, so I'm just gonna apply a very light amount right there, maybe a little bit down the center just for some added brightness. I really like this Kokie sponge. It's really nice. I think it's so funny that people still spend money on the beauty blender as if it hasn't been duped by 80% of the brands out there. Now for bronzer. So sometimes I go into a cream, sometimes I use a powder. It just kind of depends on how I'm feeling that day and what foundation I'm wearing. Today I am going to use a cream though, just because I feel like it's going to be better with this foundation and with this amount of dewiness. I've been enjoying this one from the Ulta Beauty collection, which I'm not sure if they still have. I think they discontinued it, but I'm not 100% on that. But this is the Ulta Beauty Face Sculpting Color Stick, and this is in the shade Medium Warm, which isn't really warm at all. It's actually pretty neutral, like kind of leaning more on the cool tone side. And this one just looks really natural on my skin. It doesn't look too overboard. So now for blush. So I've really been into a cream or a liquid blush lately over powder blushes. I just feel like they make the cheeks look so much more plump. So this is the Juicy Pang Water Blusher in the shade PK04. This is such a pretty like peachy coral. I've actually been sticking more to like the top of my cheekbones and then blending it up around here, like around my eyebrow, and just kind of giving that more uplifted cheek. And it's supposed to give you a more structured, narrow face, because I've been dealing with the plump face recently over the past few months. I've had to adjust my makeup routine a little bit so that it doesn't emphasize the weight gain that I've had in my face. Whenever I was bringing it more inward like this, it was just emphasizing the wideness of it. So if you make it more like vertical, it makes it look like you have a more narrow face. Now for highlighter. So again, sometimes I use a liquid or a cream, and sometimes I use a powder. Just kind of depends on what kind of finish I have. Because I'm so dewy right now, I'm afraid to add too much more dew to that because I do have oily skin. I need to acknowledge that. I'm gonna use a powder highlighter, and a powder highlighter on top of an unset base is so beautiful. So this is the Misha Idol Prism Touch of Light highlighter. So this is also a Korean product. I love Korean beauty, okay? I love Korean makeup. I'm obsessed. I'm just gonna put it right back here. And once again, haven't been applying a lot. Like I've really been into more of a natural just sheen. And look at that. As if I needed any more glow. So now I'm gonna do some setting powder. So I usually don't set my entire face. I've been loving this Kiko Milano Radiant Fusion Baked Powder for my under eye area especially. I love to apply my setting powder now with a little velour puff. So this is the Yo Twin one that I talked about in my little Blendful dupe video, which I'll link up here in case you're interested in that. I'm gonna go in and pat it. And I'm gonna go down this center of my face a little bit too, like right in my T-zone. I'm actually gonna use a different powder for the rest of my face just because I feel like this one's just a little bit too illuminating, and where I am so dewy, we gotta knock it down a little bit. Let's use this Essence My Skin Perfector Loose Fixing Powder in the shade Fair, and then I'm just gonna go in and set my T-zone. And then with whatever's left over, I'm gonna go down here below my bronzer and my blush, because I just feel like whenever this is more matte, it just makes the cheeks look more plump. So going back up to my eyes to finish those real quick, I'm gonna go back into my Hanging in Hawaii palette and just take one of those tan shades, doesn't matter if it's a lighter one or the darker one, and just run that really quickly along the lower lash line. I'm actually gonna take the lighter one today. And I know this seems like this is super time consuming and it's not a quick routine at all, but I'm telling you, on a day-to-day basis, like I can slap this on and go. And then for a little added pop, I'm gonna take one of these beautiful, oh my God, just some of the most beautiful champagne shimmers I've ever seen. So I'm just gonna take this one right here that's more neutral. I'm just gonna keep it right there in the inner corner. I'm not gonna work with it a whole lot. I just want a little action. Then we're gonna finish up with some mascara. So for lips, I've been keeping it so freaking simple. I've just been doing a lip liner and gloss lately, and I love that look, especially when your skin is just nice and dewy and your eyes are simple. It just looks so naturally beautiful. And I also feel like doing this makes me look younger too, because it seems like whenever I do the darker lip liner and the lipstick and the lip gloss, like it's pretty caked on there. It just makes my entire face look older. It's the weirdest thing. I'm gonna contour very, very slightly. Pretty sure this is ColourPop's BFF, which is like my favorite lip liner of all time. I've really been loving this lip gloss. This is also a Korean product. I didn't realize this was gonna be like all Korean makeup. This is also from Meme Box. So this is the Gloss Shot in the shade Milk Tea. So it's just a really pretty light pink nude. They're thick, but they're a good kind of thick to where they just last forever on the lips. They're actually pretty pigmented too. Oh, they make your lips look so freaking juicy. So yeah, here's my everyday, natural, simple, go-to mommy makeup routine. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it may have seemed like it took me forever, but it really doesn't. I was just talking and taking my time because I got time to kill. So let's enjoy it. I will be listing everything I used today in the description box, but let me know in the comments below, what does your everyday makeup routine consist of? Do you just put on some mascara and go, or do you do the whole 9 yards, like eyeshadow, foundation, all of that? So yeah, I want to hear from you guys down there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, turn the notification bell on. And here's a couple more things for you to check out next, so you can just venture around the channel, make yourself at home, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Mwah.